My name is Ashley Brownell, and my topic is LGBT discrimination. My vlog primarily focuses on a group of high schoolers ranging in different sexualities and genders. And a quick statistic that I found was that 40% of LGBT students face psychological problems that affected their learning in the classroom. And a case study that I found was a mixed method study, and it utilized surveys and group interviews of transgender and non-conforming youth in regards to public restrooms in schools. And the results concluded that these students didn't feel safe, and it contributed to perceived stigma and stress from their peers. This method study goes hand in hand with a question that I asked the students, particularly in restrooms, that we will later get to see and hear about their opinions and experiences. Introduce yourself and explain what do you identify in regards to your gender and sexuality.
I'm Corliss Hernandez. I'm a sophomore at Piper High School and I'm gay.
I'm Cassidy Rubin. I'm a sophomore at Piper High School and I'm pansexual.
I'm Lauren. I'm a sophomore in high school and I identify as bisexual.
I'm Wyatt. I am a junior at Piper High School and I identify as a female to male transgender individual.
Can you guys further explain your sexualities?
So I'm gay, which means I'm attracted to the same sex.
And I'm pansexual, which means I'm attracted to any gender.
Bisexual, which means that I am attracted to both men and women.
So I am queer in my sexuality, which means the same thing as Cassidy in terms of my sexuality, my gender. I went from female to male in my transition.
What comes to mind when you hear LGBT discrimination? And you guys can all kind of just chime in on answers.
Being denied of service.
Yeah, and also like in Kansas, you can be
fired
for being gay from your job.
In your experiences in high school regarding LGBT discrimination that you personally have gone through?
I always get the questions like, well, do you have sex with pans?
Ignorant
people that just like...
More, I guess, bullying in middle school compared to high school, because high school people, like, kids don't care as much, and so it's more or less of just like snide comments and looks.
With my personal experiences with that type of stuff, I was outed to my family by a peer in my class. He used it as like a way to get under my skin and type of stuff like that, so he'd hold it against me if I did anything to him or anything like that. It got to the point where I couldn't handle it anymore. There was no reason that he should be doing this stuff, and I mean, he said that it was to quote-unquote help me. It all came crashing down emotionally, kind of ended up whole, I don't know how to explain it, breakdown. Had to tell my mother, not on my own time how I would wanted it to happen, but on his time, that I was gay, and that's something I didn't want to do. I wanted to wait. Outing somebody, it can be dangerous. You don't know, like, he could have outed me, I could have been kicked out, I could have been killed. You don't know. I wouldn't have anywhere to go, period, you know?
I just know at my high school, we definitely have like a bigger group of LGBT community that is supported and everything, but we do have cases where there is bullying, and usually that is helped with by supervisors, but it's only helped with to an extent. And so some issues that are kind of low-key still carry on, and so those students usually will still have to deal with those issues without getting the help that they really need. A lot of times it's just snide comments and nasty looks, and definitely like talking behind their peers' backs to get at them.
Anything else?
I mean, to lighten the mood from that, when one of the first people to know that I was trans was my high school speech and debate teacher, because I asked her to measure me for my first binder for my chest, and so like she was one of the first people to know outside my parents, and she measured me, gave all my measurements, and helped me find a binder. And so it was like, I guess I have a better experience at school because I trusted one teacher to have an experience like that.
Why is this topic complicated for anyone involved?
It's complicated because like the two sides of it are so passionate about their point of view that they'll both fight so hard to be right. So like on one hand you have people who refuse to accept or even acknowledge the lifestyle.
A lot of times older people that are kind of stuck in their opinion don't care about trying to understand where the other people are coming from because they're so ignorant, and so it just gets to a point where they're just going after the community without beginning to understand where they're coming from, even though a lot of times people from the LGBT community understand that people grew up being against it and everything, and so they try and understand where they're coming from, and it's not really a two-sided debate usually, it's just one-sided.
It's really hard to get movements rolling, and that's why when the Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage in 2015, it was such a big deal.
My next question is, what is the history, to your guys' knowledge?
I mean, as I said, Stonewall and the AIDS epidemic, most of the AIDS epidemic, you can kind of trace it to New York and San Francisco, where the majority of it happened, where essentially AIDS became an epidemic among the gay community, and the Reagan administration didn't do anything. They saw gay people as less than anyway, so it doesn't really matter if they're dying. Gay issues haven't gone away. Even after 2015, when same-sex marriage got legalized, that may have been like a big goal for a lot of us, but that wasn't the end of a fight. There's also trans issues where you have the trans bathrooms where states are trying to regulate that. The Stonewall riot was like the big riot. Marsha P. Johnson, who threw a brick at a cop when they were raiding a Stonewall club on 53rd and Christopher Street in New York. That started the biggest riot of gay history in the United States. And
She was a male to female transgender.
yeah, she was a person of color, and she was a male to female transgender. Though a lot of people still consider her just a drag queen, she was transgender in the end, and she ended up getting killed. And that was never solved because the police didn't want to investigate her murder.
What is your guys' opinions on bathroom bills, and where do you see them, located?
Most of it's in North Carolina is where the biggest one happened. Kansas hasn't put any regulation in on that yet. So as I came out, I had to discuss with the administration what we were going to do about it. Our principal, John Wynn, was like, you can use the nurse's bathroom or you can use the staff male bathroom. There's never been a problem until one kid that knew me before I transitioned said something. It ended up being fine. I still go to the bathroom because I don't care. I think that boils down the issue just there, is that states are trying to regulate something that is unregulable. Like, you cannot regulate this when people that are intersex exist, because not everyone is born with purely female or purely male genitalia. There's no, right or wrong in terms of bathroom, because, first of all, I exist, and male to female people exist. People have this preconceived notion of what a trans woman will look like, or what a trans man will look like, or what a non-binary person would look like. But most of the time, those people pass very well, and so they go into whatever bathroom they need to feel safe. That's where the problem lies, where safety is an issue for the trans people, not for the people that are already in the bathroom.
How do you think the issue should be addressed? Locally, nationally?
Okay, if we're being realistic, I don't think it's ever going to be. They also just, they legalize same-sex marriage, and for, like you said earlier, a lot of people just think that is the end. So I feel like people were like, okay, you got that, you don't need anything else, so I don't think anything else is going to happen. Because I think, and that was the one thing that had the most support behind it. But other things like trans rights or stuff for bisexuals, certain parts of the LGBT community are homophobic to other parts of the LGBT community. So without all of the support from everyone, we won't get anything else nationally.